So, hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about fossil fuels, and how it's destroying the planet. This subject I've actually been studying since 1991, when the first Earth Summit was held in Rio in '92. I was in the Amazon, and I went to visit an institute called the Instituto Nacional de Pescados do Amazonas. It's an institute which has been focused on actually studying man's impact on the Amazon and the Amazon forest's impact on humanity. And in 1991, what they told me was that 30% of all our oxygen that we breathe, that means every single breath that we take, 30% of that comes from the Amazon forest. 20% comes from the Congo in Central Africa. So we're talking about 50% of everything that we breathe. But actually, the global north is not paying for the oxygen that the global south is producing. Now, how it's working, as you've seen today in recent times with Texas and Florida, with all these hurricanes, these earthquakes in Mexico, and all these things that are happening all across the planet, it's a direct result of man's intervention into the equilibrium of the earth. And I want to explain to you how the weather has been changing in a very, very short sentence, and how the mycelium, the method that we are actually developing here on Mont Soleil, is going to help to solve those problems. Okay, so how it works basically is the trees, what they do is they act as a carbon sink. In other words, they take in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out and they convert it into oxygen. That oxygen is then released, and it causes a barometric difference in pressure, and it's a process called evapotranspiration. So it has been, scientists have proved actually that the trade winds begin in this area. And the trade winds, what are the trade winds? They're like the superhighways of the oceans. What happens is the winds blow in a certain direction, and 80%, maybe even 90% of all the rainfall that we get on the land comes from the sea, which is brought by the winds, which is created by the trees. It's a simple thing. Now there's two things that are, I'd say three things that are the major causes of weather changes and I don't even want to talk about climate change. We're talking about climate breakdown and climate collapse. This is a serious thing here. I was in Standing Rock in January, and I spoke to Chief Arvel Looking Horse of the Sioux Nation. He's like the Pope of the Indians over there. And he said, we don't have much time. We have to repair the planet now. The Earth needs an Earth Liberation Army, an army of non-violent peacemakers, change makers, rebels, who are going to fight the hegemony of those people who hold power in central places like in Texas and London and other places around the world. But we can't blame them alone. We all use petroleum products. We all use the lighter I just showed you. It's petroleum product. So what we need to do is we need to invest firstly in green energies, and secondly we need to invest in the global south, which means that we need to pay oxygen tax. And that oxygen tax should be used to reforest these areas of the Amazon which have been cut down by agribusiness, McDonald's, etc., etc. And that's part of the problem. But the other main problem is we have the tectonic plates here. What happens is the oil, when it's sucked out of the tectonic plates, it has a direct impact on the actual environment. That's another impact. The Earth itself, what I've discovered over the last 25 years, the Earth is an organism. And what it is, basically, it works according to mathematical formula. The Moon, for example, is 1/400th, the distance between the Sun and the Earth. And if it was 1/399th or 1/401th, it would change the entire climate of the planet. So this biosphere that we live on, human beings, black, white, green, yellow, purple, whatever color you are, whatever nation you are, we are all interlinked. We're all in this together. For us to survive in the next 100 years, we need to realize this is not about climate change anymore. It's gone way beyond that. We need to develop a new form of environomics, a new form of intelligence, a biometric mind, which can solve these problems locally and globally. And that's why we've come up with the mycelium model of local governance, which means that you have global and you have local and you bring them together. So basically how it works is we know that the problems here are in Brazil with the deforestation and in the Congo. And we also know that certain oil companies based in Texas have also helped to cause the problem. And that's why we're here in Montserrat. Thank you.